Playing alongside J.J. Redick and Sheldon Williams at Duke brings back great memories.
My college days at Miami made me a better player and person.
I'm John Salmons from DU, 1998 to 2002.
I'm Shavlik Randolph, Duke University, 02 to 05.
And me and Shav still keep our eyes on our alma mater.
Especially tonight when Duke beats, meets the University of Miami.
It's the Hurricane. It's the Hurricane.
On ACC Sunday Night Hoops.
Tonight, J.J. Redick, the dominating, sharpshooting offensive weapon of the Duke Blue Devils, and his buddy, the landlord, Sheldon Williams, holds court at Cameron. The awesome Miami trio of Heights, Harris, and Diaz hits the road for a night of outrageous shots and unbelievable moves. Miami takes on second-ranked Duke, featuring the front-runner for Player of the Year, J.J. Redick. Duke puts its undefeated ACC record on the line against a Miami team that must win tonight. The excitement starts now on ACC Sunday Night Hoops.
Tonight is JJ's night in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Look at the numbers over the past 4 games. Before it's all said and done, J.J. Redick will become the all-time scoring leader in this magnificent conference. And tonight, with more than 30 points, he'll surpass Johnny Dawkins as Duke's all-time leading scorer. And the Cameron Crazies are out as the #2 Devils take on the Miami Hurricanes. We're live. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Brando. It's great to have you with us. And through the years, many has taken place at Cameron Indoor Stadium. But let's not lose sight of what this game means to Miami, a club that struggled of late, would love to get a signature win in the month of February. Mike Jaminski is by my side, and that really may be the big story tonight. Can they harness this record and also get the job done against Miami?
No, it really is, Tim. And, I talked to J.J. Redick before the game, and he's not thinking about records or what he's doing right now. His mission is to win a championship both in the ACC and in the NCAA, and that is his focus right now. He can reflect back on the records.
This is a Miami team that's going through a very difficult trek in their schedule. They've dropped 3 in a row, but they can eliminate a lot of that and get inside the bubble with a win tonight.
Well, and it's Robert Height who really has been playing well for the last 6 games. This is a team that played against North Carolina and won. He had a good game there. He can get out, he can run the floor, he can finish inside. But really, for this club to have a chance in this game, Tim, the big 3 outside have to have big games.
And they're the kind of team that could traditionally give Duke trouble, right?
Yeah, especially off the dribble.
All right, when we come back, the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Charles Davis, will have a look back at the latest national record that fell, courtesy J.J. Redick.
Those are the New York Yankees of college basketball, as many allege. Then J.J. Redick has taken over the role of Reggie Jackson, and he's the straw that stirs their drink. In their last ball game against Wake Forest, he broke the career record for 3-point field goals, formerly held by Curtis Staples of the University of Virginia, who was in attendance and was there to congratulate J.J. at the end of the game. A lot of records set by J.J. Redick, a lot of great plays by him. But as far as records and everything else, right now J.J.'s not quite as impressed as we are.
I'm so proud of what he's doing right now that I'm not really able to really appreciate the records that I'm breaking or nearing.
J.J. Redick set to take the court and try and move into 2nd place all-time in the ACC in career scoring. It's the Duke Blue Devils and the Miami Hurricanes coming up next on ACC Sunday Night Hoops. Tim Brando and Mike G-Man Jaminski will have tip-off.
ACC Sunday Night Hoops is brought to you by OnStar Vehicle Diagnostics, a service that runs hundreds of diagnostic checks of your vehicle and emails you the results. Sign up today at OnStar.com. By Staples, that was his Power Combo, a full-sized entree plus $10 game card for a very special price. Dusk in Durham, Miami in to take on the 2nd-ranked Blue Devils. A native of the Queens, New York, Frank Haith, his first head coaching opportunity after being a career assistant with the likes of Davey Odom and Rick Barnes. You take a look at the SUV starting lineups. Anthony King from Durham, a homecoming for him. Gary Hamilton, Anthony Harris, Diaz, and Robert Height, that trio in the backcourt. That will mean so much to Miami's chances. Mike Krzyzewski now in year 26, watching this team evolve and really at the point where Greg Paulus is now playing some of his best basketball in the middle of your screen. Dockery, Reddick, McRoberts, and Williams, the rest of the starting five. Let's get the Acura game plan, G-Man.
Well, for Miami, Blanket, Reddick, they're going to throw multiple defenders at him, and they must also dribble, penetrate against Duke to break them down. To the Blue Devils, defend the perimeter, limit the big three and what they do. And I really think the two freshmen, Paulus and McRoberts, are going to be a big key as this whole season unfolds for Duke.
J.J. Reddick, as we documented at the top, needs 30 points to become the all-time leading scorer in Duke history in the two. And the last meeting, Blue Devils obviously getting it done.
Actually, I talked to Johnny Dawkins before the game, and he suggested a lineup change, removing Reddick to maybe bring him off the bench to give him a little pop.
King with the turnaround, not quite. McRoberts rips it down for the Devils.
I think Anthony King has to have a big compliment what's going to happen out on the perimeter.
The emergence of Paulus at the point, and we talked to Mike Krzyzewski at the top of the day as soon as we got here. There's Reddick, count that for a deuce. So he's 28 away. But he told us that Greg Paulus is still feeling his way, probably playing some of his best on the road and maybe having to be reminded as the point and the leader of this team when playing at home.
Well, imagine being a freshman and telling Reddick and Williams where to go and directing them, and that has been a tough thing for him to get used to, but they need that leadership from him.
Gary Hamilton tied the game, and McRoberts answers with a tray.
Taking shooting lessons from Reddick, and actually McRoberts has blossomed because they've moved him inside offensively, but showing now that he's got range as well.
Harris on the double team loses it. Sheldon Williams comes up with it and gets the timeout. While spread eagle on the deck, the entire team comes out to meet him.
Yeah, Tim, Frank Hayes talked to us today at shoot-around about the fact of how hard it is to run offense against this team in the first 4 minutes. They really come with a lot of defensive intensity, and his teams are going to have to be sharp.
J.J. Reddick, you think about the great performances he's had. His most memorable moments, Mike, he would admit, came in the ACC title game. 2 in his career, a game-high 30 in his freshman year against North Carolina State. The first of many memorable nights for J.J. Reddick.
And that a game, NC State was up 15 points in the second half, and he engineered a comeback that led them to the championship and wasn't even named the MVP of that tournament.
Yeah, you think of the Art Heyman, Dick Grote of yesteryear, the magnificent 30-point-plus performances that they had.
Without the use of a three-point line, I might add.
You may be reminding us of that more often. J.J. drains a tray and the steal. Hamilton with a poor pass in, and Reddick knocks down 3 more.
You think he's ready? My goodness.
Just like that, it's 11-2 Duke.
Yeah, how many teams think about getting a steal on an inbound pass and kicking it out for a 3?
Harris all the way to the rack. You've got to finish those if you're the opposition against these Devils. Paulus off the front iron. Rebounded by King. Diaz being checked by Dockery. The best off the dribble in college basketball, and he illustrates it right there.
And we can lock in on that matchup because Dockery is their best defender off the dribble drive, and he draws the assignment of Diaz.
Well, Hamilton took the chance and created a turnover as Sheldon Williams had it knocked away.
You're trying to save Anthony King a little bit by putting Hamilton on Sheldon Williams and giving him that defensive matchup.
Hamilton on the offensive boards. King trying to keep it alive. And the foul goes against Anthony King, the junior from Southern Durham High School. As we said earlier, this game so meek. And also Jimmy Graham, a youngster that will be coming off the bench a bit later on, is out of nearby Goldsboro, North Carolina for Miami. Reddick again. Hamilton.
You know, there's almost a stunned disbelief in the crowd when he misses a shot. I mean, that was the most open look he'd had today.
He already has 9 of the 11 points for Duke. Height. Rejected by McRoberts. See, guards make mistakes sometimes, don't they, when they take it all the way to the cup. Paulus.
Well, they have to get used to that with McRoberts. You know that with the landlord, Sheldon Williams, back there. But this team blocks more shots than any team in the league.
That's a block. It goes against Paulus. as Harris takes it right to the rack. And let's go down to Charles Davis. Charles?
Just talked about Anthony King, who is a native of Durham, North Carolina. And in his freshman year at the University of Miami, he only played 143 minutes. Now, much has been made of his friendship with the University of North Carolina's David Noel. They played on the same high school basketball team together. Well, credit David Noel with an assist that kept Anthony King at the University of Miami. He told him to hang in there. Things would get better, and Anthony King stayed. And when Frank Haither became emerged as a force.
Yes, he did.
You know, I don't know that there was any player more improved in the league than Anthony King. Maybe right there, Anthony Harris, who was also underutilized.
By the way, Noel had to overcome some early foul difficulty today in the game at Wake Forest. North Carolina did extend its lead early in the second half, went on to win that game in Winston-Salem. Here's Graham, as advertised, just into the game, and the landlord, Sheldon Williams, will pick up his first foul.
And this is a different look for Miami with Raymond Hicks coming in and Jimmy Graham. They're smaller than him, quicker. They're more active. They'll get out. I expect them to put a little pressure on Duke if he makes these free throws.
Much has been mentioned in the past. We talked to the adopted mother, Becky Vinson, of Jimmy Graham not long ago. She's here, always loves to come back to the Triangle area. This young man was headed in the wrong direction, and they met at a youth church group, and she decided to adopt him and moved to South Florida to watch him play and take care of him not far from the Miami campus. Nice work by Clemente just into the game. Gets his first bucket. And point game as Miami down by 9 has whittled away in the last 3 minutes.
This is where Miami can hang in this ball game, Tim. On the offensive glass, they've got to get multiple opportunities inside, and did so. And if there's a weakness for Duke, it's rebounding the ball.
Redick, another tray. He hasn't missed from downtown. His only miss on the wing, a two-point shot.
Well, Frank Haither talked about shadowing Redick today and not giving any help, but he has gotten some good looks, and you wonder how that happens with his reputation in the year he's having.
Devils already 4 for 5 from beyond the arc. Now, Clemente is another one of those guys that off the bounce can beat you, but here in the paint, those deflections come. Graham missed the jam. Redick comes out of there with it and is fouled. A little frustration that time from Graham. He knows he missed one from point-blank range and then picked up the foul. J.J. Redick's many moments, and he'll even tell you he does things on the floor he would never do off, like getting in the face of in February of '04, saying, "I've got that and then some." We'll be right back. Number 2, Duke leads it by 6. JJ's been chasing the school record held by Johnny Dawkins. Duke fans remember number 24 as the National Player of the Year in '85-86, the team that really laid the foundation for the Coach K era. He led Duke in scoring for 4 consecutive years. His banner hangs alongside Mike Kaminsky's in the rafters here, and these are the updated numbers. Bye-bye, Christian. Bye-bye, G-Man. And now, hello.
You know, people forget what a great all-around player Johnny Dawkins was. He was the point guard his freshman year, and, you know, great rebounder, great defender, really had an all-around presence.
DeMarcus Nelson into the game out of the timeout, giving it up to Dockery, who drives into the paint. Melchione on the wing. 17-8, Duke just like that, back up by 9.
Yeah, pick your poison. That's a great spot up. Dribble drive, the kick out.
And a foul spotted against Duke. JJ talked to us about Johnny Dawkins mentoring him to break this record today.
He constantly reminds me to always be in attack mode, to never turn myself off, to always have my switch on, and I wouldn't be able to set any record or come close to any of his records without him.
Graham on the offensive boards again. And Miami getting their chances inside opportunities, particularly when you're 8 to 12 feet away from the rim.
The Height had a really good look at it and couldn't knock it down. They need his scoring. Career against Duke is only averaging 11 points and shooting 33%, Tim.
Redick again, off the feed from Nelson. Graham pulls it down for Miami.
Graham's working hard on the boards. He does have a double-figure rebounding game this year, and they need his energy.
Harris. The iron kind to Miami's Harris in the backcourt. He has 3. Duke leads by.
I've always felt like the rims here in Cameron were the softest and kindest in the ACC, and historically it's been that way. It used to be close second was Cole Fieldhouse, but these rims are very forgiving.
I got Sheldon.
And it's that kind of shot, too, that little runner of 8 to 10 feet. If guards are capable of using their in-between game, they can have some effective nights against the Blue Devils, who are constantly overplaying the perimeter.
Well, that way you get Sheldon Williams trying to draw charges instead of getting blocks.
Clemente, that's exactly right there.
Because he's going to be in the front of the rim, and they're shooting about 8 feet out, which is about the perfect spot because it really makes him commit. And if he does commit to that, Tim, it leaves the offensive glass wide open.
Nelson throws it away, picked out of there by Height. Outlet to Clemente. Soft off the glass by Dene Clemente.
And frankly, it's been Clemente's emergence in this game that has brought Miami back. He has been fearless on both ends of the floor.
Just over 7 minutes gone. Dockery, way too strong.
So, yeah, instead of in transition, Miami's able to set up in their half-court defense, and they can rebound much better on missed threes.
Harris, another pull-up just in that area we were speaking of. This is now an 8-0 Hurricanes run.
How about Harris and Clemente out there? Diaz out of the ball game, and they've carved into this lead.
Well, you can really see the potential that Miami has from a matchup standpoint against Duke. The ball is kicked.
I'm going for lead, I'm still.
With 22 on the shot clock. Carl Hess
starts with the defense and Height getting that ball and then kicking it out, and then really nobody stepping up to stop Clemente. You make the right decision, you carry it all the way in. And then Harris, he knows that's the open area right there, about 8 to 10 feet.
Carl Hess, John Cowell, and Joe Lindsay are veteran officiating crew for this evening's game. Nelson takes it into the paint and gets the contact. Hamilton, reaching in for Miami, is tagged with a foul. That's number 1 on him. Frank Hay, you know, I enjoy talking with, he reminds me so much approach to the game. Understands that this is only the beginning for his program. Nelson.
That's a big key for Duke as they go down the end of the season and get into the tournament time. A healthy DeMarcus Nelson is going to be a huge factor, and he's starting to get his legs back underneath him.
And it could be at just the right time for the Blue Devils. Diaz, that's a moving pick against Anthony King. That's number 2, and that's significant. Just over 8 minutes gone at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke leads it by 4. Coming up after our game, it's Pac-10 basketball. 15th ranked UCLA taking on crosstown rival USC. Bragging rights on the line, and Tinseltown coverage begins in most regions right here on FSN. And UCLA's had all kinds of injury issues. And Tim Floyd's had a nice impact on the Trojans in year number 1.
With that big win to start their year against North Carolina out at Southern Cal.
Guillermo Diaz comes in to try to get the block, and in so doing commits the foul for Miami, his first.
And let's see if Duke makes a little more concerted effort. Miami sitting in the zone, but Sheldon Williams hasn't had many touches. Most of the offense for Duke has come from the perimeter.
We were talking with Mike Krzyzewski earlier today, just before the game, about how this team has emerged. In many respects, it's interesting because Sheldon Williams is one of the better players in the country, and yet J.J. Redick is having, you know, one of those years you just dream about. And in many respects, it overshadows the impact and influence that this guy has on the inside.
If J.J. Redick weren't here, he'd be the player of the year. In the conference.
Right.
At least in the conference.
Right.
In the game that it is, but you have a guy on your team who's having a season people have once every quarter century.
Diaz looking for some room. Hamilton, by the way, coming out of the game for Miami after picking up that second foul, and Anthony King gets his first deuce, and the Blue Devils lead by 4.
That's it. If he can knock that shot down and draw Williams out, that'll be a huge bonus for Miami's offense.
There's McRoberts going back door, but Paulus was late getting comes away with a pilfer.
That's a tough pass to try to connect him right down through the zone.
Harris too strong. Paulus comes down with the long rebound. Outlet to Williams, the big fella, running the floor with the best.
That's one way to not have to bang against that zone and the double teams inside. Just outrun the other team's bigs. Great hustle play by Sheldon Williams.
Oh, Diaz just schooled Paulus. I mean, that was a 360 maneuver against the freshman, and he made him
The top of the screen.
Hello.
Field. That is, and we talked about this team's ability to do things off the bounce, especially Harris and Diaz and Clemente.
Raymond Hicks just into the game, picks up the foul. This is one of those, Paulus once was told for a receiver to maybe button hook.
Well, here's the look ahead, and he's got his eyes up. Good vision that time by Paulus. And this is just sprinting to the front of the rim and just outworking Miami's bigs on that particular play.
Harris picks off the inbounds pass. Diaz on the blow by.
And that's what they worked at shoot around today, Tim, on the underneath out-of-bounds plays, not letting anything go along the baseline and forcing Duke to throw long.
Turnovers a wash between these two. If Miami can get the ball in the front court, good things are going to happen. There's another pick, well schooled. Scouting report paying off from earlier today.
Two bad passes down the gut of the zone.
Harris. And it's that shot right there that the Miami guards are hitting, much to the chagrin of Coach K.
Well, and his turnovers hurting Duke right now, but Miami, they've survived a couple of big punches by Duke and are right in this ball game. J.J. Redick has not scored in the last 6 minutes.
Another steal as Paulus throws it away. Diaz and Graham give and go. And Jimmy came up a little short with the layup.
They needed one more dribble and bounce. They tried to take off too far from the rim that time.
Greg Paulus played two outstanding games on the road against North Carolina and against Maryland. But here at home, as you mentioned, sometimes to lead a team that's got two All-Americas on the floor, Dockery. But against teams like this that have very athletic guards, it puts that much more pressure on the freshman point guard for Duke.
This Anthony Harris is certainly a challenge for him, Tim.
Graham with the late pick. Harris unable to use the window to his advantage. Williams wants it, and Height will pick the first foul against Robert Height, the senior from Winston Woods High School of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Graham really caught in between that time on the break. Williams did a great job of running right into the front of the rim and then sealing him inside. Graham's got to do a better job of fighting around. He's undersized, and he can't let that pass come in.
Sheldon Williams, like J.J. Redick, getting the most out of his full run as a senior and captain of this team. You know, you look at his line, his statistics across the board. Yeah, he almost... The number of steals he has for a man that size is what jumps out at you.
Well, you know what he does, Tim? He does the same thing for this team on defense that J.J. Redick does on offense. He gives them their swagger, their confidence. You know, having him back there as a shot blocker and being able to control and anchor the defense is really a huge benefit.
Well, Patrick Johnson getting some playing time, number 51, coming in for Sheldon Williams. And J.J. Redick sits down as well. Lee Melchione now on the floor for the Blue Devils.
I think with a smaller lineup, this is a smart move to try to buy Sheldon Williams some minutes in the season.
Sophomore from Longview, Texas with the deuce. 28-26 Blue Devils. So it's Nelson, Melchione, Patrick Johnson, Dockery, and Greg Paulus on the floor for Duke. Clemente along with Diaz. Joined by Adrian Thomas, number 30 in the green and orange. Along with Robert Height and Raymond Hicks for Miami.
Well, you got the 8-minute mark, TV mark coming up, so a nice move by Coach K to get his starters out and buy them some minutes and then some more with the timeout.
Down, Paulus unable to convert. Miami will have it when we come back. 7:45 remaining in the opening half. Blue Devils by 2. 7:45 remaining. As we were exiting Mike Krzyzewski's office prior to tonight's game, he said, well, got to play some defense. He knows how good these guards are, and during this timeout, I'm pretty sure he was talking about defense.
Yeah, they're not where they want to be defensively yet, and part of it is because they are young. But consider this, Timmy. 6 of Duke's 9 field goal threes. And then, here Miami is doing it. They're getting turnovers. Duke has turned over 6 times, which you saw right there. And they're also getting second chance opportunities. But it's these 11 points off turnovers, and those second chance points are keeping Miami in this game.
7 offensive rebounds, none for Duke. All 7 belong to Miami in this game. And there's Hicks again, gliding into the paint and tying the game at 28.
You get points from Hicks and Hamilton. That's just a bonus inside.
Redick a jump stop, and he induces the foul.
That a concerted effort looked like on JJ's part to get back in this ball game offensively, trying to make something happen off the dribble, and that's an area that he really has added to in his game, where you see the scorching start that he had, and then no points in the last 7 minutes.
Not many touches, really, because of some early turnovers.
Yep. No, absolutely. It's kind of funny to think about the fact that he's having, by his standards, a poor free throw shooting year at 88%.
Yeah.
The reason why is he's taking so many hits inside, he's getting fatigued and then losing a little concentration. There's
17 more. Clemente, a runner. Oh, that's sweet. That finger roll was a thing of beauty.
He is so quick with the basketball.
Williams feels the double team, gets it out to Redick.
I'll see if you're Clemente, you got to stand up. You can't try to draw a flop against J.J. Redick. You're not going to get that call, and all you do is give him an open jump shot.
15 down, 15 to go for Redick. Clemente too strong that time. Dockery brings it back out and gives it to you-know-who. Marcus Nelson, Dockery, McRoberts, Williams, and Redick back on the floor for the Blue Devils. Nelson fouled by Hicks. Second foul on Hicks. That's one of those that Frank Hayes could really do without, because Nelson's not in a position to score. He's not a prolific scorer down there. And that's the kind of reach-in foul that you just don't want.
And Duke's been aggressive in going. Hayes is looking at the scoreboard and sees there's a 9-3 discrepancy in fouls in favor of Duke. But that, you're not going to, you've got to come into this building and knock them out. You can't expect help from anybody, whether it be the referees or whatever.
A lot has been mentioned about that, obviously, in this conference and throughout the country. Sean Dockery leaves. Paulus coming back onto the floor for him. But in point of fact, the Devils get to the line more because of the way they play. And that's an aspect of the game that all coaches, and for that matter, writers and pundits have to deal with it. You drive and slash to the basket more than other teams most of the time.
And the numbers, it's 209 more attempts than their opponents at the free throw line.
Lane violation does not help matters for Miami. Frank Hayes can't believe that.
Yeah, he's saying they don't need help. They don't need any help.
He's giving it to Carl Hess. Communicate to the referee. John Cowell and Joe Lindsay have blown the whistle a couple of times against him, and he's talking with Carl Hess. Ball was deflected by Nelson. Good save by Diaz. Would not have been an over the back. He may have gotten away with a carry before he put it in.
Well, he fumbled and he caught it before it hit the ground again, so able to corral that in.
So a good no. Redick. He's down to a dozen, needed to become the all-time scorer in Duke history. Harris finds height. Oh, that's a nice move.
Duke needs to find a secondary scorer. Miami has had people step up and take part in this offense.
Spreading the wealth, aren't they?
Right now, Redick's got half of Duke's points.
Nelson. DeMarcus rattles one home. Couple of three-pointers for him, and it's 40-34 Duke.
A barrage of threes, 8 of 12 from behind the arc.
Diaz induces the block from McRoberts, and that gets Coach K up. First foul on
Ursula now just moving a little bit, never really established, and it was because Diaz drifted off to his right. McRoberts tried to center himself on that and was called for the foul. Good call.
Shooting for Miami, number 13.
In watching him last week, we had the game on ACC Sunday Night Hoops against North Carolina last week, and he struggled with his shot, Mike. To me, this is a team, Miami, 3 weeks ago at 6-3 in conference play. They appeared to be a team maybe asserting itself to be maybe the second or third best team in the league, at least being in the argument, Florida State. But they're so dependent on the way Diaz plays, and it seems at times he tries a little too hard.
Right, Tim. I also don't know that he's got his legs underneath him. I don't think he's playing with the same explosiveness that he did last year, and of course that would impact your jump shot and how you score. I don't know how many dunks he has this year, but it's certainly not as many as he had last year.
And he's a little ginger on that leg right now, as a matter of fact. Get a little time on the bench.
This is actually a Miami with both Clemente and Harris out on the floor, and there Harris draws the task of trying to simmer down J.J. Redick. How's that going?
Yeah, I'd say he's percolating, wouldn't you? 42-36. 20 on the night for J.J. Redick. Harris again, a pull-up. And over the back when missing. Either feast or famine with that. Actually, the foul did go against Graham. That's the third foul on Jimmy Graham, so good news for Miami. It wasn't the guard that was tagged with the foul. It's the complimentary player off the bench that gets the personal.
Well, and you wonder, Tim, how long Miami can hang in there. They're the lowest scoring team in the conference, and this pace is very much favoring Duke right now.
Yes, it is.
And it's heading quickly to a well over 100-point game.
Graham actually tagged with his second rather than his third. But Roberts at the free throw line, where he's a 4% shooter all year. Rebound cleared by Brian Asbury. Number 32 for Miami. There's Clemente on the blow by. Rejected by Williams. And the landlord stepped out of bounds. It will belong to the Canes. Hitch checks in for Graham, and the Cameron Crazies applaud the effort of the landlord.
Why, and this is where he's so effective, is that Sells keeps his body in front, and that allows Sheldon Williams to tee it up on the block. Normally he does a good job of keeping that ball in bounds, but could not on that play. I think the question right now is that the shot clock shouldn't have been reset.
Yeah, they're trying to. That's what Joe Lindsay's discussing with the scores table right now.
25 seconds to get the block.
Krzyzewski. And a hold on the inbounds pass against Greg Paulus. Trying to keep tabs on the location of Denny Clemente. Second foul on Paulus. Marcus Nelson comes back onto the floor replacing Greg Paulus. He gives them an athletic approach to the game, particularly on this end of the floor. Defensively, Duke is just much more formidable when he's
more athletic. He can guard on the perimeter, but also play the second big and rebound inside. That's why they need him healthy. In this situation, out there with Williams and McRoberts, he could be a perimeter player.
Nelson, right on cue. He has 3 from downtown, 11 on the night, and the lead back to double digits. Timeout, Miami. Take a look at the number of three-pointers tonight for Redick. And again, the way he's able to create his own shot. And that's the part of his game that has really improved this year.
Nice. He does a nice job of getting open, moving through screens. He doesn't need a lot of room to get his shot off. And then he's at a little, that's almost unguardable as far out as it is. And the little escape dribble to the left-hand side has been a big part of why he is where he is. And there you see that he's passed. This is ACC leaders and also national leaders. And you wonder where that bar is going to be set at the end. And also who's going to be around as a four-year college player
That's
to
right.
challenge that going forward.
Charles Davis has more for us. Charles?
Guys, you're talking about JJ, and you saw Curtis Staples now #2 in terms of all-time three-point shots. Curtis Staples coached JJ Redick at basketball camp when he was a youngster, and Curtis is no dummy. He called every play for JJ as a coach at summer camp.
Hicks missed a ton of those inside.
I tell you what, if I'm a kid at camp and Redick is my coach, I want him to teach me so he can maybe pass the torch.
Harris. And there's a foul over the back, Anthony King. Miami's missed opportunities by their low post players. Sometimes it's high anxiety when you're dealing with what you have to deal with here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Blue Devils by 10. All right, Mike, we love the banter. Banter's a good thing, particularly at this time of year as for a run in the month of March and mid to late February. As we were going to break, we noticed Sean Dockery almost got hit in the head, but I think he actually hurt his hand in the loose ball situation.
I couldn't tell if he jammed his wrist. He kind of went down hard on that right hand as he put it out to protect himself going down.
There's that ever kinder rim you were discussing, and McRoberts taking advantage of it for Josh, the freshman from Carmel, Indiana.
As I said earlier, they tried to get him inside a little bit more to give him a comfort zone offensively to work in, Tim, and he really has responded well to that.
Duke with its largest lead with 3:40 and counting here in the opening half. Diaz. We'll need more of that. But as you said, sometimes you make a run and you get up and down, it can become fool's gold. And we play into Duke's hand, 90s and 100s, and right now Duke's about halfway home with 3+ minutes remaining in the half.
The defender was out on an island that time. They really cleared the court and left the whole middle open for Diaz to go one-on-one.
Williams over Hamilton. 8 for the landlord. Diaz.
Yeah, that's a little quick shot to me. You can get that anytime in the offense.
For McRoberts. 8 points. Dockery with a wonderful lead. And Josh McRoberts knew what to do with it.
Yeah, Hicks just too small to play him on the back line.
Height. Numbers on the other end, and Dockery trying to take advantage. Now Miami gets set. This is a critical 2.5-minute period now for Miami. They've made the last 7 in a row. And Roberts has put Harris, got him from the backside.
Here's the look on the backside. You see sneaking in the back there, McRoberts coming behind, just lurking on the baseline. Hicks really lost sight of him. Just locked in on where the ball was and not having an idea of where his man was.
Harris picked up the foul, his first. Josh McRoberts living at the free throw line here in the opening half.
And Timmy, this is where Duke really makes a living. The last 2-3 minutes of a half. They do such a great job.
Boy, may have had a lane violation against DeMarcus Nelson there. We did. By the way, McRoberts is coming off a nearly perfect game, if you want to call it that. I'm sure there were some imperfections that Mike Krzyzewski witnessed in the game with Wake Forest, but he was 5 of 5 at the line, 5 of 5 from the floor for 16 points in the win against Wake Forest earlier this week. 15-point lead now for Duke after making it 1.7 in a row from the Miami had the game kind of going the way they wanted. And now those perimeter jumpers aren't falling.
And then more importantly, too, no offensive rebounds, no second chances for Miami. Duke is cleaning up their defensive glass.
16-4 spurt for the Devils. Oh, what a pass. McRoberts is fouled. That's an intentional. J.J. Redick and Raymond Hicks getting a little separated. He knows, showing some sportsmanship there. He did not have malice in that foul, but clearly it had to be called an intentional.
Yeah, and this is a reaction, I think, to the last missed play. He doesn't want to get dumped on a second time, but Hicks just coming over and just really mauling Josh McRoberts.
Frank Haith doesn't agree. That's 3 on Hicks. Duke is full.
And this is, again, what has helped is that Duke has found other people who can score. And, you know, Reddick is at 20, but now they've got two double-figure scorers in Nelson and McRoberts, and Sheldon Williams right there with 8 points. So it's much more balanced than it was in the first 10 minutes.
Time for Diaz, Harris, or Height to make a play. Leaders of this team need to produce. And Harris does. 5-40, 9 points for Anthony Harris, junior from Chicago's Whitney Young High School.
He and Dockery from the Chicago area going at it out there. One-on-one action.
Dockery and the foul. He had the jersey, did Harris, as he went back down to the deck. That was an automatic whistle. That may be the biggest criticism that you can have of this Miami team that Frank Haith has. Clearly, they're guard-laden, Mike, but they've had some difficulty defensively in conference play. They've not been able to shut people down. Against Boston College the other night, first half went their way, had control. They simply could not stop people for 40 minutes on the defensive end of the floor.
And granted, Boston College knocked down some threes and some shots in that game, but still, you look over this last stretch of 3 games against ranked opponents, that the teams are shooting over 50% against them, and it looks like this game is headed that same way. And they're just not talented enough offensively to play at that pace. They've got to control things a little bit more.
Reminds you really a little of Wake Forest's dilemma. As great as they were with Chris Paul, they needed to outscore people to win this year. I think there was a technical foul on Frank Haith, and he was, I think after the intentional foul was called, that may have been the last straw. John Cowell and Joe Lindsay that he was upset with while he was talking to Carl Hess. Reddick is now 9 points away from the Duke all-time scoring record. Make it 8. Don't rule out that he might not get there before halftime. It's possible.
And yeah, I think Dickie Hemrick's a little nervous right now, if you ask me, wherever he's watching the game.
59-40. Blue Devils catapulting to a 19-point cushion.
That record's going to be broken, but just extraordinary that Mr. Hemrick held that for over a half-century.
Reach-in foul against the Devils. Goes against Sean Dockery, his second. Body language of Diaz, particularly, Mike, does not look good. It's as if someone really put a dagger to them in this run that Duke has had the last 5 minutes of this half.
And I think you look at Frank Haith and what he's upset about. Right now, Duke is 18 of 19 from the free throw line. Miami 4 of 6. Maybe trying to set something up in the referee's mind for the second half.
Yeah. Well, everyone remembers the Florida State game and what happened in it, the number of shots. And every other opposing coach remembers it as well. On the putback opportunity, the foul does go against Josh McRoberts. His second. That'll get Gary Hamilton to the free throw line.
Number 2, Gary Hamilton at the line for the Hurricanes.
The crowd really fired up for this game, Tim, because there's only one more home opportunity for them to see this team, and that's against North Carolina at the end of the year.
And it's a senior student night here at Cameron Indoor. Some of the best seats decked out and some of the best Duke regalia as well. Patrick Johnson back on the floor now, the senior from Atlanta, Georgia. There you see it. Thank you, seniors. 59-41.
I think these seniors not going to get a job.
Yeah. That's what Miami and other teams are hoping J.J. Redick will do soon. They're holding it for 1 here. Jimmy Graham coming out to deny Redick, and he picks up the foul. Well, they didn't. They didn't whistle the foul. Just said it was out of bounds. A lot of contact, but no whistle. Would have been a poor foul had it been called for Graham to pick up. There's a steal by Hamilton. Diaz tired at halftime. Some solace, perhaps, for Miami. The way the half ends, it's 59-43, and he's 8 points away from Johnny Dawkins' all-time record in scoring at Duke, with 22 in the first half. And one of those great guards of the past, Chris Collins, standing by with Charles Davis.
Coach, you guys are very efficient offensively, shooting the ball from the perimeter. Greg Paul struggled a little bit with the basketball. Do you just keep sending him out there, trying to work on his confidence?
Yeah, I mean, he's what we got out there. He's going to be the point guard, but overall, to score 59 points, we've been pretty successful offensively.
Defensively, seem to be doing a pretty good job on their big three on the perimeter. What else do you have to do in the second half?
Well, they started hurting us a little bit with their dribble penetration, so we got to do a good job trying to keep guys in front and then getting the defensive rebound when they shoot the ball.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Tim?
All right, Charles. Yeah, I'd say almost 60 in the first half. Some pretty good offensive performance. Now let's join Mike Goldberg, Barry Clark, and Larry. ACC Sunday Night Hoop. Dodge. You can take life as it comes or grab life by the horns. Dodge. And by SUV.com. 59-43. Duke with a 16-point lead as we open the second half, along with Mike Jaminski, Tim Brando. You know, the guards for Miami are getting the job done. They need some help in their front court.
Yeah, they need people to step up to them. They've gotten on the offensive glass, but really haven't made any hay as a result of that. He's gotten out in the open floor, and really Guillermo Diaz has showed up, but he needs some other people to step up and score. You look, he's the only guy in double figures for Miami with 12 points, 5 of 8 shooting, but he hasn't hit a 3, and so the whole team is still without a 3 in this game, but he's got his mid-range game working very well. Now for Duke, J.J. Redick has been spectacular. 22 points for him. 7 of 9 shooting, 4 of 5. The difference being he's got McRoberts with 11 and DeMarcus Nelson with 11, so there's some help there.
There you see those numbers and the offensive rebounds. Very interesting. As a front court player yourself, G-Man, you can appreciate the number of offensive rebounds, but only 5 second chance points. That just illustrates how ineffective that front court for Frank Haith has been.
On the road, you've got to, you can't give those points away, especially against the number 2 team in the country. You've got to capitalize.
As we open the second half, starting back on the floor. J.J. off the back iron. Dockery retrieves the long rebound for the Blue Devils. Redick 8 points away from becoming the all-time leading scorer in Duke history. 22 in the first half, and Paulus is fouled as he takes it to the cup. Let's go down to Charles Davis. Charles?
Guys, I had a quick conversation with Ack to start the second half. I said, Coach, anything you can tell me about the second half? He looked at me and gave me one of those, pretty much a look as you see right now, and he said, we have to quit fouling, and walked away.
Yeah.
So you understand where he is right now.
Sure. Yeah, I'd say there's a double meaning to that response.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, we'll say, Jimmy, it's most of the times when a coach gets a technical foul, it is calculated.
Yes.
And that one with 50 seconds definitely intended to send that message.
Sheldon Williams picks up the foul on the reach. Second foul against Williams.
On Sheldon Williams, number 23, that's his second. Team's first.
Height will trigger it in. Does so to King. Harris on the blow-by against Paulus. Ball was knocked away by McRoberts. Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski, Charles Davis. We're at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Frank Haith's club trailing by 17 as we open the second half. ACC Sunday Night Hoops here in Durham, North Carolina. Height, of the 3 guards, really more of the catch. And he gets elevated, now has 7 in the game.
And that's a tough shot, Tim, because he was going to his right, and as a left-handed shooter, he had to square up going the opposite way. Think about a quarterback running left and throwing right. That's a tough thing to do, especially on a 3-point shot.
1 of 7 now trying to pick up his defensive play. A near steal, out of bounds, last touch by Robert Hyde.
Well, and frankly, Tim, you know, and we talked to Frank Haith about this, the NCAA tournament is right there for this team.
Yes.
They've got a critical stretch coming up, and Hyde is a senior, and you know they've never been in this situation before, and it's, you know, so the senior, you expect him to step up.
Roberts fouled by King. One of the reasons why they have a shot is because they're in this conference and they have some tough teams left on that schedule.
Yeah, the RPI is a troubling thing, high at 77. That's because of some easy early scheduled games. But the conference record, I think they have to win 3 of their last 4. This game and just to seal it, a win in the tournament, ACC tournament. And that, all of a sudden now, for a lot of conferences, that first round of the tournament is really going to be critical.
Right, and how you finish, of course, everyone talks about the committee looking at the last 10 games. Certainly Miami is going through a very difficult period in their schedule. The kind of a signature win this could be would mean a great deal to changing all of that. As Anthony King has 4 points, and it's 62-48.
Well, you alluded to the bigs having to step up, and you know Hamilton is limited offensively in what he can do, but Anthony King can be that guy.
Now a steal by King. Diaz up and over Paulus with authority.
Talked about he hadn't been playing with the explosiveness. That is the Guillermo Diaz that people saw last year in this league.
Yeah, he had some elevation there. Williams, not doubled, gives it up to McRoberts. He wants it back, but Josh doesn't give it to him. Reddick feeds Williams. Now he is doubled, and it's rejected by King. Oh, nice job of corralling it by Sheldon Williams. Dockery, nice scoop to the hoop. Out of bounds, last touch by Sheldon Williams. Pretty good defensive sequence by Miami. Duke had their opportunities. Here's our Staples easy pull.
King getting out, making the steal. And Guillermo Diaz with the rise, elevation with which I am unfamiliar.
Off the ball, foul spotted against Duke. It'll go against Sean Dockery with a hold. That's the 3rd foul on Dockery.
Very quietly, Miami starting to creep back into this ball game.
And some fouls off the ball. Frank Haith may see his team at the free throw line a little sooner than perhaps he expected here in the second half.
Right, they never got into the penalty in that first 20 minutes.
That's right. Which had a little something to do with the way he responded to Charles Davis's question at the break. Nice defensive work by Paulus, got a deflection there. 3 minutes gone here in the second half. Blue Devils led by 16 at the break. And another it is tightened up, but it's going to go against Hyde. Second foul against Robert Hyde. Three of the first 4 fouls, well now 5 fouls that we've had in the opening 3 minutes of the half have been off the ball.
Well, caused by player movement, and J.J. Redick can cause you to grab at him. He's just in constant motion. I think he gets tired of running around. And Sheldon Williams is, I think he needs some bleeding to be attended to.
Lee Melchione will check in for him. Melchione, you talk of the family of basketball here at Duke, and certainly he and his family have always been a part of Duke basketball. Nice to see Mike Krzyzewski's family. His brother was in town this week. They opened a brand new life center here in his name. What he's done for this community through the years in his 26 seasons is just incredible. Overlooked by many.
Yeah, not just giving back philanthropically to Duke and the athletic department and the university and the Children's Hospital.
The Emily Krzyzewski Family Life Center, and what this has done is given opportunities for young kids in the Durham area a chance that maybe if they went home they wouldn't have much. They can spend their days after school there.
Yeah, their after school program, that's his brother Bill opening it at continuing education involved there. A nice gymnasium, in many ways bigger than Cameron Indoor Stadium for the kids to come and play in.
Diaz taking it to the hoop hard, and he's fouled. Josh McRoberts picks up number 3. So some early foul difficulty for McRoberts, as you see they're tending to the chin of Sheldon Williams.
Literally taking it on the chin. There's the crossover and thing. You get up in the air like that and a player moves underneath you and you get your legs cut out from underneath you. There's nowhere to fall but on your tailbone.
Second team All-ACC a year ago. And as I mentioned in the first half of the game, I think there are times when he feels the need to carry the team too much so.
And I think part of that, Tim, might have come from the fact when Anthony Harris was out of the game, that he felt he had to be a playmaker and a scorer, so there may be a carryover effect from that.
Another turnover, and the freshmen are committing those turnovers.
That's 4th of the game for Paulus, and McRoberts has 3.
Hamilton lost it. Good defensive work by Melchione on the other end. That would have been a big bucket for Miami. It would have meant in the first 4 minutes they would have carved a 16-point lead into single digits. McRoberts from Hamilton, Melchione to follow.
When that happens, Hamilton has to come in for the block, and that allowed Melchione a free run to the front of the rim.
Hamilton, the offensive rebound, again unable to convert. Second chance opportunity blown by Miami's front court. It's as if they're getting to those rebounds, Mike, but they're rushing the putback.
And they don't have to because Sheldon Williams is out of the ball game. He just get in that hurry-up mode where he used to playing him.
Oh, nice reject by King. Rotating over to send it the other way.
Yeah, he was an all-defensive performer last year in the ACC. Second in the league in blocks to Williams.
This is a mismatch against Melchione. Player control foul. Lee Melchione induces it. Well, among the big moments in the career of J.J. Redick, messing with Texas. Number 1 versus number 2 back in December, just after the Virginia Tech win. 41, 9 3-pointers. J.J. with another payday.
Better health. Sometimes it's in the genes, but as often as not, it's connected to the quality of the information you have at hand. And that's what makes WebMD America's most trusted health information source. It's a place where people find information they could never get their hands on before, where doctors discover new and better ways to care for their patients. A place where everyone can make the connection between better information and better health. WebMD.
In Power Combo, get one of 9 delicious entrees and a $10 game card for only $14.99. Dave & Buster's, the only place with food and fun for only $14.99. The Dave & Buster's Power Combo, only $14.99.
All good things in time, my boy.
Haste makes waste.
Patience is a virtue.
Your day will come.
Luxurious things can come to those who'd rather not wait. The Acura Certified Pre-Owned Vehicle Program.
Go anywhere. Do anything. The power is yours. Cordless power. But be cool with your cordless power. If you've got old rechargeable batteries, take them in to be recycled. It's easy, and it's good for the environment. Check us out online or call to learn more.
64-51, the number 2 Devils with the lead. And don't forget, coming up next week, ACC Sunday Night Hoops. Note the time, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. It's Maryland and North Carolina. Tyler Hansbrough, 40 points against Tweak. That's a freshman scoring record all time in a single game. He had 17 today in the win against Wake Forest. That'll be from the Dean Smith Center next week.
You look at the numbers, Tim, 19 points a game, almost 8 rebounds, 61% field goal shooting. He leads all the freshmen. I think he's a first-team All-ACC performer.
Yeah.
That freshman of the year, that was sealed a long time ago.
Jimmy Graham picks up the foul against Sheldon Williams. Let's go down to Charles Davis. Charles?
Guys, I love the conversations, bro, but I want to bring up Josh McRoberts and enter him into the conversation in terms of what if. Obviously, Tyler Hansbrough is just a man down low and a real beast, but the role that Josh McRoberts is playing for what will be the #1 team in the country on the next poll as a freshman, I think it's just been extraordinary.
Yeah, understanding where you are and how to fit in that comfort zone with the roster. I think you have to credit to Mike Krzyzewski with that, too. Each guy has his own role to play, and it changes year by year.
Well, it's different, too. I mean, Sheldon Williams is a given. J.J. Redick is a given, and that's not sell what they've done this year. But this team is going to improve as McRoberts improves and as Paulus improves. And they are where they are. They've given the ball to Paulus, basically, and McRoberts is really starting to blossom.
Height, not this time. Melchione clears for Duke. The lead is back to 15 for the Blue Devils. By the way, you can make a case Hansbrough with the 40-point performance earlier in the week, 17 today. He could be the freshman ACC player of the week. It would be the 8th time that he's gotten that distinction this year.
Kenny Anderson has a record for 10, but I think McRoberts would be right there.
Graham with a tie ball, the arrow to Miami.
But and then you also think, too, that I'm sure Roy Williams would have been happier had Marvin Williams stayed and Tyler Hansbrough had somebody to play with inside like McRoberts has with Sheldon Williams.
Yeah, that would have certainly changed the numbers that would be needed from Tyler Hansbrough in order to win for Roy. The cut into the painted area, and J.J. Redick got him with the body. Actually, they tagged Melchione with the foul on the backside rather than J.J. First foul against Melchione, senior from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Talked about his dad. Gary was a team captain here for a couple of years. And
that's a smooth move by Diaz there.
BC started. He really got that explosive first step. Has been able to get inside, and he has been really the lone viable weapon offensively for Miami.
Blue Devils with only 1 field goal, but they have gotten to the free throw line. And Diaz comes out of there with it. A little woofing down there underneath the hoop. Diaz pulls up. That's his game. Off the bounce. There may not be a guard any better at scoring in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Well, if you get a small player on him, Tim, he just jumps over them and he outquicks you. Very tough cover.
Paulus with Melchione, Redick, Nelson, and Williams. Nelson and Graham again, so very aggressive and usually picking up a foul, and he does again. It's number 4 on Jimmy Graham. We're at Cameron Indoor Stadium, Durham, North Carolina. Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski, Charles Davis. Duke leading by 11. Redick moving in on the all-time scoring record owned by Johnny Dawkins, who sits along the sidelines as associate head coach with Mike Krzyzewski.
Consider also, Tim, that J.J. Redick has not scored in this half, and we're 7 minutes into it, so Miami's calmed him down to a degree. There's Johnny Dawkins looking on. It's going to be a fine head coach someday, somewhere, and that's been the speculation. Does he stay here until Mike Krzyzewski retires and then moves over 18 inches, or does he go somewhere first to run his own program?
Well, if this past week is any indicator, carousel may runneth over this season in college basketball. I mean, we already know of one opening at Indiana, and we also understand that Missouri's got an opening, and who knows what might happen in Stillwater, but Sean Sutton is, of course, earmarked to take over for Eddie Sutton, when and if a decision is ever made with his dilemma. Plenty to talk about, though, in coaching circles, whether it's those schools or someone else. The March Madness gets here, and the NABC convention begins in Indianapolis at the Final Four. Clemente. Rebound to Williams. Sheldon Williams with 7 boards. He's moving in on a double-double. Redick working to McRoberts. Skip pass to J.J. 25 for Redick. 5 points needed. And this place will come unglued. Knocked away by Nelson. Timeout. 11:49 remaining. Fans can sense it. He's down to 5. His first bucket of the second half. And I think most of the camera attention, don't you? We'll be back.
We're at Hooters to play Hooters Hold'em. Here comes the flop. And now the turn. And finally the river. Ooh, it looks like he's all in. Come to Hooters today and play Hooters Hold'em. Win free appetizers, a copy of my DVD Final Table Poker, or a chance to play poker with me for $1 million at the new Hooters Casino in Las Vegas.
Nice pair.
Oh yeah.
Now you can rev up Charger or Dodge Magnum. Get an available fuel-efficient 3.5-liter V6 or the legendary power of a heavy V8. Plus all-speed traction control and a 5-star government frontal crash test rating. Right now, qualified returning lessees can lease a Dodge Charger for $349 a month. Hurry, offer ends February 28th. Open up a Magnum or unleash a Charger now at your Dodge dealer.
In all the world, there are a select who at their very core are capable of incredible transformation. Under the most grueling conditions, they are shaped, hardened, sharpened, ready to stand among the most elite of all warriors, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Every February, it begins. Enthusiasts have been waiting for all year long. Toyota's Think Big Truck Event. It's time to save big on the rugged Toyota Tundra Double Cab featuring a powerful iForce V8 engine with 271 horsepower. It's time to get $4,000 in total savings on the XSP Sport Package. It's time because the Think Big Truck Event ends February 28th. Toyota, moving forward.
71-55-16, and he just bypassed the ice portion of Fire and Ice at NC State. Rodney Monroe, 2,552 points, Mike.
And here's how we're talking about moving without the basketball and how you fall asleep. And Reddick continuing to go through. Now McRoberts has the ball, and Miami just loses sight of where number 4 happens, where that should never happen. But a good cross-court skip pass by McRoberts to get him that jump shot.
Harris with Clemente, Height, Hicks, and Hamilton on the to the rack. Good work on the dribble drive by Robert Height. He has 9.
You really need to make that left-hander go right to you. If he gets that way and can get that drive, 9 times out of 10 he's going to finish.
Well, critical time too for Miami with Guillermo Diaz getting a blow. We'll be having a little bit left in his tank for the stretch run, and quickly Mike Krzyzewski decides to take a timeout. 11:20 remaining. Blue Devils lead by 14.
Anymore about anything or anyone.
A burnt-out cop.
Get this guy from lockup and run him over to Center Street.
A witness who saw too much.
Kid was gonna testify against a lot of cops.
No. On March 3rd.
Time to go.
Fasten your seatbelt.
You are not gonna make it.
16 blocks. Rated PG-13. Starts March 3rd.
Best Buy has the selection of wireless laptops. Lightweight, portable ones that are perfect for emailing on the go. Or sleek, stylish notebooks that add flair to your look. And versatile tablet laptops lend flexibility to your business presentations. Plus, save up to $200 instantly. Nothing to mail in, hassle-free. Get it now at Best Buy.
To me. No, take the frozen goods first, Bob. Frozen goods and these perishables too. Yes, honey. Take these for...
Full throttle energy drink. Let your man out.
The percussion is on here at Cameron Indoor. And you look at the ACC men's basketball standings brought to you by Acura. Duke leading the way, and Miami at 6-6. It underscores just how important this game would be to the Hurricanes.
Well, that group right there, 4 teams at 6-6, then Miami, Florida State, Maryland, Virginia. Well, you wonder who's going to emerge. I think the top 4 teams are locks for getting into the NCAA tournament, but then after that, a lot of work to do for that group. Maryland has the toughest schedule. 3 of their 4 games are on the road.
Life without Chris McCray has not been easy for Gary Williams' team. Williams shoots up an air ball. Height comes down there with it. You know, on the surface, Florida State may be playing better than any of those teams, but they're still in search of that signature win.
Yep. And their remaining schedule, they've got 2 home games against Duke and Maryland, and Virginia Tech and Miami on the road. And it may come down to that last game of the year at Florida State at Miami, the last regular season game for both of those teams.
Yeah, by the way, we should mention Florida State's soap victory when they lost in overtime here to the Blue Devils. Let's go down to Charles Davis. Charles?
Guys, as J.J. Redick gets so close to breaking the record that's held by Johnny Dawkins, that's his mom, Jeannie. I had a chance to talk with her before the ball game, and she said there's really not much else to add. Everything's already kind of been said when asked about J.J., how proud they are of him, of all of his accomplishments. What she's focused on is his last couple of games here at Cameron Indoor Stadium, and it's a very emotional time for her and her family, and she really teared up while she was telling me that.
Yeah, I noticed she was another outstanding player's wife. That's Kathy Collins. That, of course, is married to Doug Collins. And Doug, of course, here to watch Chris all of those years when he was playing. And, of course, Chris is on that staff alongside Steve Wojciechowski and Johnny Dawkins.
I couldn't even begin to explain how emotional that last game is, Tim, as a senior here. I mean, just words wouldn't do it justice.
Hamilton with the putback, and it's 71.
It's almost, you almost can't play the game. I mean, that's how much it takes out of you, and then the realization that it's the last time you're going to step on this court.
Redick turns it over, trying to find McRoberts on the back door. That was a nice play by Hamilton because he would have palmed the ball had he controlled it. Instead, he gives it up. Clemente doesn't hit. That's another big miss for Miami.
They've had opportunities, Tim. You talked about it, and Duke's turnovers have kept them in it to a degree, but they've just missed some shots that.
Roberts stripped but fouled by Hamilton. And you know those big possessions too, a chance to cut it to 9, a chance to cut it to 10. Those opportunities to get over the hump, and they've not been able to do that really since they relinquished that 16-4 run with about 8 minutes remaining in the first half of the game. McRoberts back at the free throw line. He's been living there. Most of his points tonight coming from that location. And look at those numbers, 25 of 27. As 8 of his 10 for McRoberts have come from the free throw line.
I look at the numbers, they're really sick for Duke as far as they're shooting 51% as a team, which is first in the conference, 41% from the three-point line, which is first in the conference, 78% from the line, that's first in the conference, and they lead the conference in scoring. It's just unbelievable offensive numbers, and a lot of those numbers rank in the top 5 nationally as well.
Comes in for McRoberts, who leaves with 14 points. There's the ball denial again. Melchione knocking it away as they tried to make the entry pass. Adrian Thomas is on the floor for Miami right now. Guillermo Diaz gives it up to Clemente. There's a runner. Thomas on the offensive boards, and he's fouled. And that's a bit of given up by Sheldon Williams. That's 3 on Sheldon. Adrian Thomas gets to the free throw line.
It's been a struggle for him there at 47%. Hasn't been there a lot this year. Got more time recently at a season high of 5 points against Boston College.
Number 2, Joshua Roberts back into the lineup for the Blue Devils, replacing Lee Melchione.
Melchione leaves the game. Roberts checks back in. Hamilton, the senior from Los Angeles, looks to come in for Miami.
Number 2, Gary Hamilton back into the lineup for
replacing Raymond Hicks.
Miami.
Redick
That's about as good a defense as you're going to see. Anthony Harris staying with him.
This is another one of those possessions, Mike. Chance to cut it to 9 or 10. Nice look. Diaz creates it. Hamilton jams it home.
That's what a great player does. He draws the attention of the defense, and there's a good catch by Hamilton going to the front of the rim, making himself available.
Well, you can just sense now from the Miami bench that the biorhythm level's picking up just a bit. Williams, and again, Hamilton trying to induce a player control foul by flopping to no 74-62. Harris, Thomas unable to handle that laser coming from Anthony Harris. Roberts back on the floor along with Paulus, former quarterback at Christian Brothers Academy. He's got sort of that quarterback coolness about his game at the point.
Really doesn't like talking about his son. I'm a basketball player now, and that was a part of my life, and it's behind me, and I try to get better as a point guard and a leader on this team.
Adrian Thomas gets the foul.
That's his first.
Well, that's sort of in keeping when you think about it of the Duke way. Where you could think about yesteryear and have some perspective, but very rarely do you get a chance to look through that rearview mirror when you're playing for Coach K.
You got to think that Ted Roof, the football coach, has thought about Paulus
a little bit. Just Mike Krzyzewski has told me on many occasions that his favorite team, when the occasion that he does look in the rearview mirror, that 85-86 team, the one that got to the championship game and lost to Never Nervous Purvis, which of course had Johnny Dawkins, Jay Billis, so many of the greats that really laid the foundation for the future of this program.
Right, and there are some who kept Mike Krzyzewski here.
Yeah,
that recruiting class. His first 3 years rocky here, and you take a look at what he's done, X out those first 3 years, the numbers really get gaudy. But it was a struggle for a while until he signed that class, and that was the start of everything.
Allery was a part of that, of course.
David Henderson.
Yep. There's the dump down to Sheldon Williams, and he's fouled. Adrian Thomas coming over a bit late. Jay Reddick. He may surpass everyone but Adam Morrison based on what he did last night. It's the only guy that won't be passed by JJ by evening's end. 75-62 Blue Devils.
Best Buy has the selection of wireless laptops to fit your needs. Lightweight, portable ones that are perfect for emailing on the go. Or sleek, stylish notebooks that add flair to your look. And versatile tablet laptops lend flexibility. Plus, save up to $200 instantly. Nothing to mail in, hassle-free. Get it now at Best Buy.
Thanks for a wonderful evening.
It's my pleasure. Hey, is this your car?
You want some coffee?
Oh, yeah.
The 265 horsepower Nissan Maxima.
Life doesn't stand still. That's why Lowe's has showroom quality kitchens at prices that fit your budget and the largest selection of appliances in stock. Best of all, Lowe's installation program includes project management teams that take you from start to finish for worry-free, on-time installation, all at a price you can afford. At Lowe's, home improvement never ends. Use your Lowe's card and pay nothing for 12 months on all purchases of $299 or more from February 8th through February 20th.
College basketball hits the hardwood on FSN. Cal looks to keep their run for the Pac-10 crown alive as they battle a Washington State team gunning for the upset. Then, Stanford's conference title hopes hang in the balance in a crucial showdown. Thursday on FSN.
Take a look at our Dodge game summary. Reddick lighting it up for 22 in the first half. Only one three-pointer here in the second. Diaz 19 points on 8 of 11 shooting. Needs some help from his friends, though.
Needs somebody else to step up and be a primary scorer. And it's right now it's a free throw situation, and then you got this intercontinental scoring battle going on between J.J. Redick and Adam Moore. He's got these behind in the time zones. He knows what Redick is doing.
Exactly.
Then he can go out there and counter.
By the way, if they finish in a tie, do they have a steel cage match to sort of end it?
I think you put him on a video game somewhere and let him go at it.
You know, he had 44 last night, and he needed every one of those points, did Adam Morrison. Their games are really entirely different, but their stats are eerily similar.
Yeah, as far as player of the year, you got to give Redick an edge because of the competition that he's played
night in and night out,
and amassing that.
Diaz just carves up a double team and then doesn't finish. Beat the double team on the dribble, but unable to get the hoop. Style points will not get it done at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Out of the timeout. Hamilton's back on the floor now. There's Dockery wide open from Redick.
And he had about 4 different defenders on him. We're talking about Redick on that play, but the unselfish give up to a wide open Dockery.
And again, you see as good as these guards are for Miami, height, he's bumped by Redick. There are times, Mike, when it's painfully obvious that they don't particularly care to defend because there's a lot of room between or Diaz's man when they're knocking down open three-pointers.
2 shots.
I think that's the question Frank Haith is having to deal with in terms of the future of this program. You know, getting some guys to really dig in and play some defense.
Yeah, it certainly is manifesting itself. We're talking about over the stretch when you play ranked opponents, your defense has to be spot on, and it has not been for Miami.
I'll tell you what, I give him the nod in the future, though, because he's built a magnificent staff with some head coaching experience on that staff.
And the fact of the matter is, it's there's 2 parts to it. One of it is recruiting, and the other is coaching.
That's right.
For him, he's one of the best recruiters in the country, so you know he's going to get talent.
Redick the pull-up. JJ with 27. Jeannie, his mom, looks on. He's a 3-point shot away. Redick with a steal. You know he wants it. Why not?
And the crowd is fully aware of what the situation is.
Oh, the iron unkind to JJ. Harris, a leaner. That's another opportunity 3 feet away from the cup. Either the guards or the front line missing from near point blank range for Miami. Well, you know the fans want JJ to break the record with a 3.
Look, he's got 3-point circle.
Paulus. Williams follows.
And how about Sheldon Williams in amongst 4 green jerseys inside, coming up and getting the offensive rebound.
17 for Sheldon Williams. Diaz gets Williams airborne. And Sheldon picks up the foul. 4 now on Williams.
I think Johnny Dawkins was motioning to get Redick out of the game. He wanted to rest him for a little bit, right?
You are devious, you know, you really are.
The power the coach has.
See, Dawkins, by the way, did he have to lobby for that location? Dawkins, when his jersey retired?
Nope, they're up sequentially as to when you played.
By the way, a few years have passed between Jaminski's and Dawkins. That's just a need to get the record straight from time to time.
Absolutely, 6 years to be exact.
Somewhere Bill Foster is happy we mentioned those 6 years. 84-65, Duke by 19. There's Williams. Long rebound taken out by... Nice work on the glass by King. And a quick timeout taken after Anthony King worked so hard for the rebound and the putback. And the lead is 17 with 4:39 remaining. Let's take a look at our GM On-Star student of Graham, Arts and Sciences major, member of the Athletic Director's Honor Roll at the U, and as we mentioned, a young man that's worked so very hard to get himself in this position, hailing from Goldsboro, North Carolina.
It's amazing who God puts in your way sometimes.
Yeah.
And, lucky he found the woman that he did. They found each other, and he's got his future is all ahead of him.
Has the right attitude as well. I mean, he's humble to a fault. At times, he'll begin to tell you what's wrong with his game, and at some point, I want to say to him, "Look, you're pretty good. Yeah. Just keep working on it." 84-67, Blue Devils. Anthony Harris has the good fortune of shadowing J.J. Redick off the ball as he tries to get free. Melchione sets the pick, and there it is. The all-time Duke leading scorer, J.J. Redick. Timeout, and it could not come at a better moment. Soak it in.
It was a screen down low, and he actually pointed to this side. He knew he wanted to come out, free himself up. And only appropriate is a three-point basket, and Johnny Dawkins standing up, and his parents right there with him. Outstanding stuff.
Now you can rev up your lifestyle in a Dodge Charger or Dodge Magnum. Get an available fuel-efficient 3.5-liter V6 or the legendary power of a Hemi V8. Plus all-speed traction to our government frontal crash test rating. Right now, qualified returning lessees can lease a Dodge Charger for $349 a month. Hurry, offer ends February 28th. Open up a Magnum or unleash a Charger now at your Dodge dealer.
The NHL is back. NHL Center Ice is your ticket to get inside the NHL with up to 40 games a week outside your local area. Don't miss the intensity of increased rivalry, great new rules, and no more ties. The shootout is on NHL Center Ice. When it comes to sports, we're on your team. To order, call now.
Beat.com.
Brought to you by Toyota Scion of Goldsboro.
College basketball hits the hardwood on FSN. UCLA's conference title hopes are on the line in a huge conference showdown with hated crosstown rival USC. Tonight on FSN.
Just under 4 minutes remaining, but J.J. Redick bypassing Johnny Dawkins. The crowd paying homage to him now. The crazies. Johnny Dawkins, the champ.
Not making him feel any better.
You would know. Fifth straight 30-point game for Redick. Now they have to finish it. Anthony Harris on the wing. Loose ball taken down by Melchione.
But you know, you think about it, it's testament to Johnny and what he did. Stood for 20 years.
Yeah, it is.
With all the great players that have come through this program during that time.
And the turnover. Here's that play again. Patented J.J. Redick play.
You'll see, you saw the thumb go over to the other side, and Harris missed it. Redick knew where he wanted to come out, and he just needs a nanosecond to get the ball up. And there's the celebration by the family.
Yep. Very proud of Jeannie Redick. again splits the double team. And Drano, 23 points for Guillermo. Carolina, Puerto Rico. Frank Hates hopes for the future really lie with his guard trio.
Well, and you know, Height's graduating. He loses him, but both Harris and Diaz back for next year.
At least that's the feeling that Guillermo will be back, and we have no reason to think otherwise. One of the reasons why J.J. Redick not only broke the record, that's clear, as you see Polis using the glass, but this record for Redick may last a very long time, given the climate in intercollegiate athletics, and particularly college basketball.
With the great players, and the great scorers. It's rare that they'll stay around 4 years, and you got to think on the level, it's going to be from smaller schools and players who excel, like a Keegan Clark up at St. Peter's, who's trying to lead the nation in scoring for 3 years. And where you've got kids running through after 1 or 2 years, that number may stand a long time.
In many cases, at those smaller schools, it means a great deal to have a leader in any statistical category. They actually work their best to make sure that those players have the top numbers, because it brings some publicity to schools that otherwise would not receive it. JJ turns it over, and he's being taken out of the game. Listen to the ovation. Right on the number. Congratulations, JJ. It's been a pleasure having an opportunity to cover you throughout your career. And
this is like a day off for him. He gets 2 minutes of rest at the end of the game. I mean, he's used to going 40.
Clemente threw one up from his hip against Melchione. Oh, my. Denny Clemente is pretty quick.
Well, at the end of the day, Tim, Miami just couldn't score enough to stay with team.
Somewhere between now and the end of the season, their defense is going to have to tighten up and clamp down for them to get enough wins to perhaps be inside the bubble at year's end.
Well, frankly, you know, this guy coming out of the game has been overshadowed all year. All he did in this game was get 17 points and 15 rebounds. Yeah. And I don't know how many blocks. You know, it just...
A rather pedestrian double-double.
Oh, yeah, just, you know, just scraping by.
Pulled down by Anthony King. He's also stuffed his stat sheet a bit tonight, particularly with rebounds. So many on the offensive end, not converted.
Well, I think going forward, as Duke heads down the end of the stretch here and into the ACC and NCAA tournament, I think their fortunes are going to hinge on their defense and how that improves, and on McRoberts and Paulus and how they mature.
Mass substitutions now by Martinez Potsus on his first playing time. Eric Boateng coming in as well. Well, you look at the Devils, they've got the North Carolina game coming up, of course, next week. That's at home. Everyone will be anticipating that matchup. But I must admit, this is a team that is constantly against Connecticut. And that's something else to consider. How much more vulnerable is this Duke team at 24-1? And there's that huge basket for Davidson. Everyone wanted him to get it, too. You can bet.
And everybody feels like they scored when he makes a basket. And, you know, I think you look at this schedule down the stretch, the one trap game that may be out there for Duke at Florida State.
Yes. And Florida State in such need of a signature win. If they're going to, tonight, Jays, here in Cameron Indoor Stadium.
You know, I was proud to be here to witness that. Ironic that both Dawkins and I are here to see that.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm happy to just be the fly on the wall, buddy. Congratulations, JJ. It was indeed an honor to be a part of this tonight. Our final score, 92-71. Blue Devils winning it. J.J. Redick, the major story, and boy, look at the paparazzi around, if we cameras around J.J. Redick.
Well, again, you talk about how physically taxing it is to score that many points, but also,
and I believe Charles Davis is trying to get through a sea of cameras to get to him. Charles is looking for him. He actually walked behind me. At midcourt, he was trying to find it.
That's it. Defenders can't find him like that either. That's how he's been able to score that.
JJ ran a backdoor cut on Charles Davis. Here it is again. Johnny Dawkins holding the record, and this is the play off a double screen. And no one's worked harder on improving his game than that young man. And that made people are so happy for him.
Please direct your
And a special
attention to
celebration
center
now
court.
taking place at
At this
midcourt.
time, we would like to make a special presentation. With his 30 points this evening, J.J. Redick has passed Duke legend Johnny Dawkins to become the all-time leading scorer at Duke University. Dawkins held the previous mark at 2,556 points. At this time, let's recognize Johnny Dawkins for the record he held for 20 years. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here to present J.J. with the game ball, our associate head coach, Johnny Dawkins, director of athletics, Joe Oliva, and Duke president,
There you see the players making their way to get to JJ. They hoist him. I know Charles Davis is waiting for his opportunity to get to Duke's all-time leading scorer. Let's go down to Charles Davis. Charles?
JJ, congratulations on the win. You got the record.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't really that focused on the record, you know, all season. But lately it's been kind of hard to ignore it with everybody talking about it. But I'm just glad that it's over with. Trade on what our team's doing again. And again, we played a great game, and we're glad we won.
I know you've got bigger fish to fry down the road team-wise, but what did it mean for you to have the man whose record you broke coach you and then present you the ball tonight?
I feel very lucky, and I feel blessed and honored for Coach Dawkins to do that. He's the greatest player, I think, in Duke history. He really helped turn the program around under Coach K, and without him, I probably wouldn't be here. So, you know, thanks a lot, Coach Dawkins.
Had a chance to talk with your mom before the game, and she said everything we are of him. She's focused on the last couple of games in Cameron.
Yeah.
It's about that time for you. Where are your emotions right now, thinking of your senior year concluding?
My emotions are all over the place. You know, part of me wants to just smile, part of me wants to laugh, part of me wants to cry. I'm not really sure, but this has been one heck of a ride, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Go enjoy this. Congratulations.
All right, thanks a lot.
Johnny Dawkins. Got Johnny Dawkins right here. You've got him right here. Too late. Where'd the guy go? Right here. Johnny, how special was it to present that game ball to him? And what are your emotions now that your record has finally been broken?
Well, it was an honor for me to present JJ with the game ball. Having been a part of staff to coach him for 4 years and seeing how he's developed into a great player, I was really pleased to be able to pass it to him. And for me, I've held the record for 20 years, and I was proud to have it. I don't think we could pass it on to a better young man.
A lot of credit for your coaching and your counseling and your teaching along the way. What have you seen in J.J. Redick over the 4 years? How have you seen him grow as a player, a person, all those good things?
Well, he's grown in all of those areas. He's grown as a player and as a person. As a player, he's gone from good to great, and that was great for me to watch him do that. And as a person, it's equally as good, because as good as a shooter as he is, as good a player as he is, he's even that much better as a person. So I am very proud to have been able to be a part of the staff to coach J.J. Redick.
If you had had a three-point line, would we be having this ceremony tonight?
Well, I still got a lot of confidence in my game, but seriously, take nothing away from that young man. I've never seen anyone score the ball the way he does, and for me, it's been a pleasure to watch for 4 years, and especially this season.
Johnny Dawkins, you're a class act. Congratulations on your career and your accomplishments and how you handled this evening.
Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Charles. And no more points needed. And when Johnny Dawkins played and when my partner Mike Jaminski played, but certainly the significance of what J.J. has done is off the charts.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I visited with Johnny before the game, and he reminded me of a letter that I wrote to him when he broke my record. And he has a letter tonight that he's going to give to J.J. Redick. You know, he remembered that, and he has a few things that he wants to say to him as well. So, you know, just nice to see that continuity in this program and be a part of it.
And by the way, you talk about having an opportunity to be a part of this. I don't know that we'll ever see anyone break someone else's record and that person's record was on the staff.
No,
that was coaching that. That may never happen again.
No, and think of all the things, the ironies of Curtis Staples being his counselor in camp and then breaking, you know, just a lot of cross currents.
Out of Roanoke, Virginia, as was Staples, soon to have his name and jersey hanging from the rafters, much like Mike Jaminski and so many others. Well, for Charles Davis and Mike Jaminski, Tim Brando saying so long for now from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Number 2 Duke wins. On the other side, Mike Goldberg, Larry Conley, and Perry Clark in our Atlanta studios here for ACC Sunday Night Hoops. It was a special evening. Thank you, J.J. Redick, for all that you've done and all that you...
A burnt-out cop.
I believe life's too long.
Ain't too long, right?
Is protecting a witness.
You gonna testify against cops?
That's what that kid talks.
He must choose between defending the truth.
All you gotta do is look the other way.
Or defending his life.
We just want the kid.
Bruce Willis.
They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill you.
Most Def.
No.
David Morse. 16 Blocks. A film by Richard Donner. Rated PG-13.
Do you believe anything's possible?
I do. I work at Earthlink.
I believe your internet can do more for you.
I believe it can be safe at any speed.
High-speed dial-up wireless?
Sure.
I believe that whatever's next, we'll think of it first. I work at Earthlink.
And we're making unbelievable things happen.
Every day.
It's time to start believing. Call now and get a great deal on Earthlink High Speed. Earthlink, we revolve around you.
Looking for a little excitement in your combo meal? Then head over to Dave & Buster's for the new Power Combo. Choose from one of 9 entrees like the Jack Daniel's Barbecue Chicken and get a $10 game card, all for $14.99. All the excitement of Dave & Buster's games and a delicious entree for only $14.99.
You couldn't get a better deal at Dave & Buster's if you were me.
Or me.
The Dave & Buster's Power Combo. Food and fun for only $14.99.
Acura Certified Pre-Owned Vehicle Program. It's the shortcut to your dream car.
Welcome into our Atlanta studios for our continuing coverage of ACC Sunday Night Hoops. He's the coach, Perry Clark, the vet, Larry Conley. I'm Mike Goldberg, and our congratulations to J.J. Redick, the new all-time leading scorer in basketball history. And you know what, Larry Conley, you saw J.J. Redick many years ago, and you thought, this kid might just be special.
I happened to be covering the McDonald's All-America game in New York City, and I had a chance to sit and watch him play. And the guy I was working with, we were sitting next to him watching this game go on, and I was watching this kid go up and down the floor. He had scored like 3 or 4 baskets, Mike, and all of a sudden, in about a period of about 30 seconds, he took 3 shots from about 30 feet, and he had nothing but net. And I stood there and I looked at that guy. Is really good. I said, he's going to be something special. And Mike, he has been. I mean, he's been everything the Duke expected when they got him out of the state of Virginia.
From a coach's perspective, the improvement each year, not just on the court, but off the court, isn't that what I think Mike Krzyzewski is most proud of, Perry Clark, is that he's a better player and a better man than when he first arrived in Durham?
Mike, I think the latter is the most important to Coach K. He's a better person. I've seen J.J. when he played in the AAUs, and he was a tough defense, but he is a great kid. He competes, and he competes every time he steps on the floor. That's the thing I think that makes him special, and that's the thing I think that makes everybody so proud. I talked to Coach Dawkins when I was down there. They all are so impressed, and they truly, truly love J.J., and Johnny really did want to see him break the record.
You know, it's interesting when you have something go to someone else that was so special for 2 decades as Johnny Dawkins had record of being the all-time leading scorer in Duke history, you do want it to go to a class act. But did we think, Perry Clark, that J.J. Redick would average 29 points a game in his senior season?
Well, that's hard to believe, but Mike, that's why there's so much great tradition at Duke, because it's not just talent, it's about character, and J.J. certainly has it.
You know, it was funny when Charles Davis said, Larry, well, what if there were a 3-point line for Johnny? And again, we're just having fun with this. We do not want to diminish the accomplishments tonight of J.J. Redick, but Johnny Dawkins could shoot the basket.
Oh, I mean, we can do a what if every year for a lot of guys, going back 40 years if you want. But, you know, you cannot diminish what he's done. I mean, it's just important the way he's played. And Perry's right. I mean, he's a great individual. I mean, not just the way he has played, but also the way he has conducted himself throughout this whole thing. Mike, it has been nothing but class.
There's no question about it. And right on the minds of everybody right now, though, is, and J.J. first, Perry Clark, is to put the record behind him. And let's think of, and I know the coach doesn't want to say it. He did say it earlier this year, oh, by the way, but let's now.
Without question. The other thing, Mike, is everybody, every time he walks on the floor, he is up on everybody's bulletin board. You must stop him. Every show coming in, everybody wants to interview him. That sort of pressure Johnny didn't necessarily live under, and J.J. has. He's just done a tremendous job.
Congratulations to J.J. Redick, the new all-time leading scorer at Duke University. I'll tell you what, a very, very class act, and lots more to come. And lots more to come here, coast to coast on FSN as we continue our coverage. Don't forget, we will head to the Pacific 10 Conference next for a nice rivalry within the city of Los Angeles, that being USC and UCLA. UCLA's been a great story. Maryland has a story that is still yet to be fully written, in North Carolina with a nice win today. That's next week. Maryland, North Carolina on ACC Sunday Night Hoops. Our coverage begins at 5 o'clock in the East, 2 o'clock in the West with the Acura College Hoops tip-off show. All right, earlier today on Wake Forest, and in this basketball game, I think more appropriately than anything else, we saw a continuing story in Tyler Hansbrough. And it's interesting, Perry Clark, we talk about J.J. Redick kind of capping a career. We've got a youngster just starting a career in Carolina Blue.
Oh, without question, Tyler Hansbrough, I think he's the best freshman in the country. I think he's proven that over the course of this year. And I think no one expected North Carolina to have a chance at the NCAA. I personally think that they're in. I also want to congratulate Duke. We haven't talked about them regular season, but I think certainly Tyler Hansbrough has made the North Carolina season.
All right, and you are right. With the win tonight, officially in the bigger picture, and J.J. Redick will probably talk about it, Larry, they did clinch the ACC regular season title. Clinching the win earlier today because of the play of Tyler Hansbrough was North Carolina. They were at Wake Forest. Justin Gray was good early.
He was, but it was just too much Tar Heels. Justin Gray got him Wake off. North Carolina was able to get the ball inside the Hansbrough, and he was able to finish. And Rayshawn Terry stepped up from the perimeter, knocked down critical jump shots. A great win for North Carolina.
You know, Larry, North Carolina's had some great wins this season, 83-72 with Terry leading the way today. And I still think they can do some damage come ACC tournament time.
Well, they can. I think there are 4 teams that are a lot to get in right now. You're looking at the top 4 right there. Duke, North Carolina State, Boston College in North Carolina, Florida State, Maryland, Virginia. All the loss by Miami tonight may have put them out of it. They are now 14-12, and they are still looking for a signature win.
You know, the guys at the end of the broadcast, Barry, talked about Duke, a potential stumbling block in Tallahassee against Florida State. We've seen the Seminoles play well against them before, but in your mind, does Duke go 16-0? Do they run the table in the conference?
I really think right now they have the ability to do that. I think that they're in a hunker-down mentality. I think Mike Krzyzewski's done, it seems like every year I say he's done one of his best coaching jobs, but I really think he's done an outstanding job getting the most out of this team. Also looking at Virginia there, Dave Lado, everybody picked Virginia at the bottom of the league. He's got to be right there for Coach of the Year with the job he's done with Virginia.
And Larry Conley, Villanova with the win earlier this week against UConn. They got some votes as the #1 team in the nation, but is Duke #1 when the polls come out again tomorrow?
When they come out tomorrow, it's going to be Duke #1, and they'll probably move Villanova into the 2 spot. Connecticut will drop to 3 or 4, and Memphis will be in there. But those are the top 4 teams right now, I think, in the country. And certainly with Duke moving up, you know, everybody at the beginning of the year knew that Duke and Connecticut were going to be the 2 clubs that everybody was going to be chasing for that national championship. But, Mike, I think there are a couple of clubs floating out there right now, and I think Villanova is one of them that could make a serious run.
Well, speaking of Villanova, they had a great top 20 showdown earlier today in the conference, in the Big East, taking on #17 Georgetown. Randy Foye, not surprisingly, Larry, had a big afternoon.
You know, when you play Villanova, because that's what they do, is get their guards up every game. Randy Foye again having a big game, big afternoon for he and the rest of that guard combination that Villanova has been so deadly with all year.
You know, as good as the Big East is, and we've had the argument that they may be the superior conference in the nation right now, Villanova's won 17 of their last 18 Big East contests.
Well, the thing that Villanova's been able to do is they play with the 4 guards, and they make you have to match up with them because those 4 guys are so good offensively and so good off the dribble. You have to get smaller to play against them.
The hour we go to Pac-10 basketball, but bottom of this conference, you find some pretty good teams on the bubble just to get into the Big East tournament, Larry.
Yeah, for those of you who are not aware of this, in the Big East this year, only 12 teams are going to go to the tournament. And right now, if we played it today, Providence, St. John's, DePaul, and South Florida would all be out in the cold.
Wow.
And it is cold up there.
It is definitely cold right now. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the Big East. And once again, a program, a reminder, top of the hour, we do have USC and #15 UCLA balling. For our Southern California viewers, that game will be on FSN West 2. But staying in the Big East, who can make a move right now, Perry? We obviously have established Villanova. We've established UConn and some others. Who will make a move? Who will be a surprise team in the Big East come tournament time?
I think Marquette. I think Marquette is a very, very good basketball team. They have Dominic James at their point guard, and I think he's as good a freshman point guard as there is in the country. They had 2 great wins this past week, one over Georgetown, the other over Pittsburgh. Back can flat out shoot it, and Tom Crean has done a great job, and he's going to surprise a lot of people with this ball club.
And Larry, will we see a lot of Louisville or a little bit of Louisville come postseason time?
I got to tell you, they're struggling right now. They're struggling to score, and this is not usually the way Rick Pitino's clubs play, but I think maybe they're going to come back a little bit. But the team I would pick maybe to come on at the end right now is going to be West Virginia. They did it last year. They were the team that got into the tournament, got to the championship game. And I tell you, shoot the basketball. Now, they've lost 3 of their last 4 games. But I'm going to take West Virginia to go back to that championship game again. I don't care what he says.
That's not a surprise. I mean, they weren't a surprise.
Hey, you know what?
You really went out on a limb on that one.
Yeah, but they've lost 3 of their last 4. They have not been playing well.
All of us from time to time need to get pitsnoggled. It puts us all right back into the proper mindset. Don't forget, top of the hour, Pac-10 basketball. The Trojans and to host #15 UCLA. We're back to our studios in Atlanta in a moment.
Hit the accelerator and go around the track. Friday night at 10, catch an in-depth preview of the big race. Then Sunday night at 10:30, we'll take you to Victory Lane for all the final results, highlights, and interviews. Start your engines every Friday and Sunday, presented by Ford.
Last year, one man tamed the beast. This year, the beast is back, and revenge will be anything but sweet. Get ready for an all-new season of the PBR-built Ford Tough Series. The baddest cowboys, the rankest bulls. It's the roughest 8 seconds in sports.
The PBR-built Ford Tough Series tonight at 8 from Portland.
Only on OLN.
the new red burrito taco salad at Hardee's. Because you can't have burgers all the time.
City championship, whatever you want to call it. It's always wonderful when USC and UCLA meet in any type of sport. College football, college basketball. Tonight they meet right here. College basketball, and calling the game, Steve Physiak and Marcus Johnson. Guys.
The rain has passed. It's an absolutely beautiful day in the city of Los Angeles as we get together for a great battle between UCLA. Very familiar with the rivalry is my partner Marcus Johnson. You were in so many battles in the 70s. This is a very good city duel.
Battles? Come on, man.
Come on.
We owned the Trojans in the 70s, man. You got to win games.
Yeah, but they own you guys in the 30s, 40s.
And that's what makes it so special. It goes back so many years, and then you have the connections between some of the players on these teams. For example, Jordan Farmar helped Nick Young of USC pass the SAT. These guys have those kinds of connections, so they really go at it tough. And plus, this is the last chance the Trojans will have to beat the Bruins here at the Sports Arena.
And UCLA is in the NCAA. You're in first place. USC trying to get into maybe the NIT. But how about the teams jockeying for 4, maybe 5 positions?
Yeah, I think there's a solid 4 teams. UCLA, you talked about. Cal, I think, is in. Washington is in. Arizona with their RPI at 20. And the way they play today, Fizz, watch out for the Wildcats with Chris Rogers back. They're playing tenacious defense. I think Stanford has placed themselves in a position where they're going to have to win a Pacific Light Pac-10 tournament in order to make the NCAA tournament.
Arizona with a big win at Stanford today. California lost last night at the Haas Pavilion, so we've got a good one coming your way at the top of the hour. It's USC hosting UCLA.
Fizz, thank you very much. Highlights from that aforementioned victory for Lute Olson in Arizona.
Here's Dan Grunfeld with the basketball. A good bounce pass to Taj Finger for a two-handed dunk. It was Arizona today. They played really well away from home. It's a club that really is not away from Tucson, and right there Odanovich with a nice move down on the inside.
Illustrating that point, Larry, the win today snapped a 4-game road losing streak for the Arizona Wildcats. They started the second half on a 16-3 run. I think most appropriately, both Marcus Johnson and Steve Physiak, Perry Clark, talked about that they think Arizona's got some noise to make still. Agree or disagree?
I agree. I think that they have struggled, I think mainly because they haven't shot the ball as well as normal Arizona teams do, but I think it's tournament time, and I think Lute Olson knows how to win.
And for Lute Olson, Larry, it's always Final Four national championship.
Well, I'm just not sure that this basketball team is up to the caliber of a Lute Olson Arizona team that I have seen in the past. And Perry's right, because when you look at their statistics, they are not a very good shooting club. When I look at Pac-10 stats, I always see them at least number 1 or number 2 in field goal percentage, or at least in the top 5 in scoring. It's a club that has not played very well offensively this year, and they've turned it over a lot.
All right, Cal is a great story with Leon Poe, but I think one of the best stories in college basketball is the reemergence amongst the nation's elite Bruins. Back to the John Wooden days, all the great championships, the national championship in the 90s. They're number 15 in the nation. Yeah, they were supposed to be good, but teams like UCLA, Perry, are supposed to be amongst the elite every year. It's nice to see them back.
Well, I coached against Ben Holland when he was at Pitt. He can flat out coach, and he's got his system in place. Offensively, they're very efficient. They always come up with good shots. But let me tell you something. Tim Floyd, who I also coached against, is going to make that inner city rivalry very, very special. Tim knows how to heat it up, and it's going to be a great, great competition.
Perry always makes other coaches better.
Hey, I love that. Absolutely. You know what? You're the greatest analyst ever sitting next to him. Are you kidding me right now? Hey, the nice thing is that we've got Pac-10 basketball the rest of the way, but let us once again congratulate J.J. Redick. He is now the all-time leading scorer at Duke University. What a night for J.J. Enjoy Pac-10 Hoops coming up, everybody.
It's a fact. The more we learn about how to take care of ourselves, the longer and healthier our lives become. That's why more people turn to WebMD than any other health information source. It's a place where people find answers to health questions with an ease never before possible, where doctors discover new and better ways to care for their patients. A place where everyone can finally forge a link between better information and better health. WebMD. Jeez, that's a big truck.
Yeah.
It has the world's biggest cab.
Where's the truck?
The all-new Dodge Ram Mega Cab. Yeah, it's that big. 0% is back. Get 0% financing for 60 months on Dodge Ram. Hurry, offer ends February 28th.
Life doesn't stand still. That's why Lowe's has showroom quality kitchens at prices that fit your budget and the largest selection of. Best of all, Lowe's installation program includes project management teams that take you from start to finish for worry-free, on-time installation, all at a price you can afford. At Lowe's, improving home improvement never ends. Use your Lowe's card and pay nothing for 12 months on all purchases of $299 or more from February 8th through February 20th.
Well, there was one year where I almost lost the entire backyard to crabgrass, and I vowed that would never happen again. The following year, I did use Turf Builder plus Halts crabgrass, but it also greened up the lawn and thickened it. I used the cheaper brands, but I didn't have the color that I wanted, and I did have the weeds. Look how thick it is. Look at the color of it. There are no weeds. I take the credit instead of Scott's. I call it Luby Lawn. I'm very proud of the results that I get from Scott's, and there will be no crabgrass.
It's a crosstown showdown as UCLA and USC square off. The Bruins have been brilliant this season and are sitting atop the Pac-10. The blue and gold have the stars, but it's their unselfishness and chemistry that have their fans banking on a conference title for the first time in 9 years. USC has been a surprise as well this year. The Trojans have exceeded all expectations, but have had some serious bumps in the road over the last 2 weeks. SC needs to get back on track. Against their arch rival will do just that. It's the Battle of LA as UCLA takes on USC next on FSN.
J.J. Redick.
It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. From the East Coast to the West Coast and beyond, no matter who you are, when you do what we do.
Attention, if you're uninsured, stop neglecting your family's health because you do not have insurance. There is an affordable solution. Listen very carefully to this vital announcement. Welcome to Prudent Choice. Prudent Choice is a nationwide network of 850,000 premier healthcare providers offering huge discounts of 10 to 60% for doctors, dentists, hospitals, and other medical needs, all for little more than $1 a day. And because Prudent Choice is not health insurance, there are no deductibles, no waiting period, and you can't be turned down for any reason.
With Prudent Choice, now everybody can afford quality health care.
I saved $4,000 on my medical bills.
If you and your family don't have health insurance, you need Prudent Choice, so you'll never have to pay full price for your medical care again.
Call the number on your screen and get $300 in free health service with membership.
You're watching FSN South.
Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Tonight's ACC Sunday Night Hoops. The Miami Hurricanes in to take on the Blue Devils